Hello, I'm Jeremy, and I wanted to create a video to discuss Tim Pool and how he's talking about Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. And Tim Pool, whenever he's talking about the news and the lies with the media, he's dead on. Whenever it comes to policies and what the government is doing, I'm not feeling it there. He talks about Gavin Newsom and Democrats in general and how they want to have power and that they don't want to give it up. And I think it's just real easy to misunderstand their train of thought. I think it's kind of ridiculous to say that, well, the rich ivory tower people have no idea what normal people are thinking. And it's like, well, the same is true in reverse. So, an example of this is Trump. Trump, whenever he's going around and he's speaking and he's saying things like, we're going to win all the time and we're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of winning, and we've got really good people to take on the job, and everything's wonderful and great. I think of that show called Shark Tanks, and it's where it has extremely rich people and they form a panel. People come on to pitch their ideas, and a lot of it is they want to know about these people. What are you going to do? How much time and work and effort have you put into this? And how much are you going to put in? I haven't seen a lot of shows, but that happens on a recurring basis enough that it's caught my attention. And it got me to thinking about, well, what does this mean? Trump, he is a businessman and he has over 500 businesses. How do you think that all happens? He's doing business deals that are probably unique in a lot of ways that you're not going to be able to go to a bank or go to someone and just talk about it and get a loan because it's common stuff. So what does he have to do? He has to sell himself. So whenever I've found it curious with people whenever they're saying that, well, Trump's a liar. He talks about these things like he knows history or facts or something like this. And it's like, no, that's absolutely wrong. You're getting it wrong. He's not claiming to be an historian or a teacher or some kind of fact soothsayer or whatever. He's just trying to pitch something. And he knows that part of the pitch is selling himself. And so I wonder, what do we not understand with the hyper rich elite people? What kind of tribe mentality do they have? What are they thinking? And I think a lot of it, whenever I'm especially watching Jordan Peterson, he talks about how fierce this is and that tribe loyalty is extremely important. It will take precedence over a lot of things. So I don't agree with it. And I think whenever he's talking about the Democrats have a big plan to do this or that or the other, it's like, I don't think that's right either. Too often you see in all political arenas where people can't keep their damn mouth shut. Stuff gets leaked constantly. And I think part of the reason why it happens more and more is because you have cell phones. Take pictures, you can shoot videos, just do an audio recording. And so because of all these different medias that we now have at our fingertips to be able to take some kind of proof of what's going on, it's like, yeah, it happens at the highest levels of government. So no, to say that there's some kind of cabal of grand conspiracy kind of stuff going on, no. I think there is corruption that absolutely goes on, but I think it's small things, and yes, they're kind of the same thing, and so it's kind of easy to make these connections. But that there's some grand conspiracy and all these people are keeping quiet, no, absolutely not. Also, I wanted to say that it's good to see Tim Pool finally kind of getting it, where he talks later in the video about you don't want money per se so much as what you really want is purchasing power. So if you've liked my video and you understand what I'm saying so far, before we continue any further, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and continue to watch as I produce more content. And with time, I'm going to hire more people to make more, and I'm going to create a website to help deal with a lot of this stuff. And so you want purchasing power because the whole purpose of having currency is so that you can go out and you can do your grocery shopping, to go and buy your food, your drinks, to be able to feed yourself, right? What does it matter if you have $1 million to buy a million things, or if you have $1 to buy the same million things? It's easier to manage $1 than 1 million. Whenever my dad was young, he did say that like a dime, whenever he was a little kid, mind you, but still, for a dime, you could go and buy a burger, get a drink, and either chips or a candy bar. Why do we have all this new technology, all these new machines, and we've innovated the way that we've done all of these things, where we're more effective and efficient than ever? Why does it cost more? I remember whenever I was a little kid, for a quarter, you could go buy an 8-ounce Coke from a Coke machine. Whenever I started to drive, gas was under $1 a gallon. So why has it gone up? Why hasn't it gone the other way? It's the government. 100%. They put all of these things in place that make it more difficult. Taxes, tariffs, you name it. Minimum wage. And that's ridiculous because there's no limit to how high you can go. You can keep pushing everything up, but there is a limit to how far down you can go. And that's free. Whenever you can go to the grocery store and you get things for free, mission accomplished. You've done what you set out to do. And there will be a time whenever this happens, because there will be machines that do all of this stuff. We're already seeing it now, and we're only going to create more and more sophisticated robots. And so what happens is that the government just turns on the printing press, and they create more and more currency, which devaluates how much the currency is. So here's a really good example, especially if you're young, if there's something that you collect, let's say comic books. That very first issue of Superman ever appearing in a comic book is worth a lot. Now, say all of them were destroyed somehow and there was only one left, it would be worth a fortune. Now, after Superman was created and that first issue came out, World War II came along. And this is why those first issues of comic books are expensive, because for the war effort, they went in and they had to recycle everything, including paper from comic books and newspapers, to be able to help the war effort. And so the comic books that they did have, not like they had a lot in the first place, but a lot of them were destroyed. But imagine if some vault somewhere was discovered from World War II, and they had 10 million issues of the first Superman appearance ever. It'd be worthless. You wouldn't be able to give those things away. Everybody would be able to have one, and the ones that are in existence right now would be worth even less because they would be damaged, and these would be closer to mint because they've been kept in storage for so long. It's the exact same thing with currency. The more you have, the less it's worth. It's one of the pitching points that they do with Bitcoin, is that nobody can go and turn on the printing press, that there's only so many of them, that there will come a point in time whenever all of those Bitcoins have been mined, and then there's no more. And then you're just dealt with whatever it is that you have. And I'm not going to get into Bitcoin anymore. But that's how it is with everything. The more rare it is, whenever it's a one of a kind, and it's sought after, which of course currency is extremely sought after, then that's how it has its value. But if you mass produce it, it's not worth anything. You can even look at it with just simple things from outside like sand and dirt. It's not worth much. You can find it in so many places in great abundance. Not platinum. and so it's worth a lot. And you find these asteroids that have hit Earth, and people will go out and they will scavenge for these things, because if you're lucky, it'll be comprised of some kind of material that is not found on the planet. It can only be found from outer space, and you can pay for a few houses depending on what it is. And so, no, whenever you hear anything that raises any part of the economy with its prices, be it taxes, printing more money, or the minimum wage, those things all devaluate the currency, making it where you have less purchasing power. Every single economy that collapses, it's because their purchasing power has tanked. They're going around with millions of dollars of cash, and they can't buy jack. They're lucky to buy toilet paper. You never see it happen the other way. When it happens the other way, where you have incredible purchasing power, then the world is your oyster. You can buy whatever you want. A personal example for me is that whenever I was in the military, I was stationed in Germany, in Budigen, and we did some joint training in Poland, and the Polish currency was weaker. It was not as strong. The purchasing power was weaker, and so whenever we went to exchange it, then it was like one American dollar, I forget what their currency is called, it got us like several of their dollars. So that meant that things were extremely cheap, and one of the things that they had was porcelain. And so if you wanted a porcelain, that a fine china, then you could go and buy it really cheap because it was made locally and have this incredible set. And it's like, well, imagine if it was that way with everything around the world, that if we could exchange $1 and we could get 100 yen or 100 British pounds or 100 Deutschmarks still in your currency, then we would be able to buy just whatever we wanted, and we would be able to all live extremely well. So yes, just keep this in mind whenever you hear all this stuff. And I'm tired of the lies, because this is something that has been proven. It's not a debate. I'm not looking to have a discussion with anyone. What I want is facts and evidence. If you can prove it to be otherwise, then by all means. And that's what, in time, I will create a website, and this is exactly what it's going to deal with. Not people's opinions. You'll still be able to express your opinions, but without something to back it up, we're going to take it with a grain of salt. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Again, hit like, subscribe, and if I've been going for a while by the time that you watch this, then please go to my Patreon or Subscribe Star and become a member so we can start making something happen. So thanks a lot, and we'll catch you later.